So welcome back. Today we're outside the office of SEEF Bangladesh Agri Ventures, and we're going to be speaking to Fahim Ahmed. And we're going to be asking Fahim particularly about the importance of entrepreneurs being able to present to investors a clear and coherent investment request. So let's go in and meet Fahim. So Fahim, thank you very much for making the time to meet with us today.
It's a pleasure to do this.
Great. I'm interested, first of all, just to find out a little bit more about yourself. How did you get into the world of investing?
Well, I've been in this investment and finance field for about 13 years now. Got into this by personal interest. Since my early days in college, I've been very interested in how businesses work and how businesses grow. And one of the key factors that help a business grow is financing, and that is what led me into this field in the first place.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit more about SEEF Agri Ventures Bangladesh?
Sure. SEEF, or Small Enterprise Assistance Fund, is a global investment management firm with a mission to provide growth capital to small and medium-sized businesses with a dual objective. One, generating financial returns for our investors, and second, to generate sustainable development impact. Now that mission, over the course of the last 25 years, has led us to 25 developing markets, quite like Bangladesh. Since our inception, we've managed over $750 million in committed capital across 30 funds. One of those funds is SEEF Bangladesh Agri Ventures, which we started in Bangladesh about 3 years ago. Agri Ventures is an investment vehicle that was set up through funding from the United States Department of Agriculture, and it has the objective of providing capital to small and medium-sized agribusinesses in Bangladesh, as well as provide them with complementary support with respect to business advisory services and technical assistance. In other words, not only just provide the funds and financing, but also provide them with the tools and advice that help them properly utilize those funds.
Great. And I understand that your fund is coming towards the end of its first investment cycle.
That's correct. We started out our operations back in 2012, and we're coming to a successful close of our investment cycle mid next year. Through the course of this process, we have successfully invested in a number of companies, and we're very much committed to continuing our operations moving forward as scale up. With bringing on board additional capital, but with respect to our current investment period, we are, as you noted, coming to a close next year.
Great. So one of the things which is really important for an entrepreneur to be able to do if they're going to have a sensible conversation with an investor is to present a clear and coherent request for money. Could you tell us a little bit about why that is so important as an investor?
As an investor who are directing capital often provided to us by our investors, we have a responsibility to ensure that the capital is properly being utilized. So we want to learn about how the entrepreneur will be utilizing these funds, how it fits into their financial projections, into their cash cycles. We can ensure proper utilization of the funds and then a return that is acceptable to us.
Yeah. So particularly on that bit where they're coming to the section where they ask you for an amount of money, do you have any sort of practical tips or suggestions for an entrepreneur about how to present that, either verbally or in written form?
Of course. Many of the investment appraisal processes or discussions start in conversations such as this, where we would have a half hour or 1 hour conversation regarding the entrepreneur himself or herself, about their understanding of the business and what they are proposing. Now, in many cases, to facilitate these discussions, if there is a brief company profile or a two-pager, that can certainly advance the conversation. But what we're really looking for is an articulation of what the business model is, how the business generates or seeks to generate money, and why it needs capital in order to grow that business, how the capital would be utilized, and how the capital would be returned back to the investor. So these are sort of questions that we would like to address during that first conversation. That may happen in the course of discussion. That may also happen in the form of a brief proposal. But I think what the investor is really looking to come away from the meeting is identifying somebody who is very passionate about the business and who has a clear sense of how an investment can help grow that business.
Yeah. Well, Fahim, thanks very much for giving us your time today.
Thank you very much, Eric.